Okay, well, happy Monday, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a while for me, so it feels so good. I think either spot is okay. Yeah. Great. So we're going to actually start our practice tonight on our backs. And you'll see next to your mat, there's a washcloth and a eye pillow. So feel free to put those on as we kind of get settled. So we'll just slowly find our sit bones and extend through the legs. And just gently supporting the back as you release onto floor. Feel free to grab that eye pillow and place it on top of the washcloth. So we can close the eyes. If you prefer not to have it, that's totally fine. Just kind of tuning in a little bit. We've all had busy days, I'm sure. So we take some time at the beginning of class to just settle in, begin to tune into our breath, into our physical body tonight. Just taking this time to give ourselves permission to arrive here on our yoga mat, in our practice, in this beautiful studio. With each exhale, we begin to just release little parts of the day, any thoughts that might be coming up, kind of looping in the mind. We always acknowledge what comes up for us, but we also make this space to allow things to float away from the center line of the body. And before we start to intentionally shift our breath pattern, we'll start to just kind of notice the quality of the breath, how it is right now. Notice where it's holding. It might be in the shoulders, the chest, the belly. We might have a tendency to just forget about our breath. And so we bring that awareness, that focus, to shifting our inhales through the nose and big exhales, releasing the breath through the mouth. Inhaling, filling the belly, expanding the ribs, drawing the breath through the nostrils. And then slowly exhale, releasing the breath through the mouth. Just take a few slow rhythmic cycles to gently connect. And just feel into yourself tonight. We give so much to others. We put so much of our energy, creativity out into the world. So we take some time tonight to bring it back into ourselves, to nurture, to support, to re-ground ourselves. And as we bring awareness to our fingers, we relax the hands. We open the palms a little bit and gently just melt those arms into the floor. We feel the shoulders rolling back and the heart opening wide. We notice the base of the skull resting on the floor, nice and heavy, safe and supported. We notice the hips and the heels. And we come back to the sensation of deep breathing. So we'll take some time and begin to count the breath tonight. So whichever space you're in on the inhale or the exhale, we invite these numbers into the mind as we begin our next inhale, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep going if you can. Take a small pause at the top and then slowly exhale. Release the breath through the mouth with the same rhythmic pattern. Try to use that same counted step. Good, big exhales, release and let go. And just rinse and repeat that. Inhaling, filling the belly, expanding the ribs, drawing the breath in through the nose. Taking a pause at the top and gently releasing breath. Every last drop. Sinking deeper, feeling heavy in the floor. And it's okay if it's not easy. We might forget to breathe. The thoughts might take over. We find gentleness and patience with ourselves. We just find that exhale as soon as we notice and come on back. So much of our yoga practice is just coming back and noticing, showing up for yourself. A few more cycles here. Relaxing the eyebrows, releasing the jaw, allowing the eyes to just hang heavy, sinking deep into the body. If it feels comfortable, we'll intentionally squeeze into the facial muscles. And then as we exhale, relaxing the eyes, relaxing the temples, the ears, and maybe even opening the mouth, allowing the tongue to reach out just for a moment. And then as we close the mouth, once again, we'll place the tip of the tongue resting on the roof of the mouth, allowing the lips to part gently so the digestive system can relax and release. And again, if any of this does not feel comfortable, just find a space that does. With each exhale, we let go and unwind. With each inhale, we invite fresh oxygen, nourishing breath into the body. We're sending that breath from the nose, from the mouth, through the entire body, into the limbs, through each cell and muscle and tendon. And we continue that cycle of inhaling and exhaling, making sure you feel comfortable and supported here. On our next inhale, we begin to draw the breath through the nose. Let's fill the belly. We'll start to sweep the arms overhead, reaching through the fingers, opening up the shoulders, maybe pointing and flexing the toes, rotating into the wrists and the fingers. And as we gently exhale, we'll sweep the palms, painting along the ceiling. We'll start to gently engage the belly slightly to draw the heels closer to the sit bones. Knees find the ceiling. Low back presses in gently. And we'll just reach for the left knee. We'll reach for the right knee. We'll give ourselves a nice rocking sensation of left and right, kind of massaging the tailbone. And in this space, we'll continue rocking, but we'll start to send the knees forward and then draw them back in, as if we're kind of stirring into the hips, massaging the tailbone. I like to have my hands on top of my knees, but wherever feels comfortable, on shins, on thighs, even on the ankles. And whichever direction you're moving in, let's go in the opposite direction. So we'll start to stir to the other side. And as we start to move into the physical body, let's bring that breath with us. So we might inhale to one side, exhale to the other. Think about that beautiful rhythmic pattern we created in stillness, and we just keep that going, relaxing and unwinding. And as we find some stillness, we'll allow the knees to fall out to the sides. We might hold the knees on top or on bottom, just bringing that awareness to the inner thighs, pointing, flexing the feet, if that feels good. We can tuck the shoulders under just a little bit more to open through the heart center. We feel lots of length behind the neck. And again, we invite the belly breath back in. And deeply releasing. You can always come back to that counted breath if you find that useful. And as we next exhale, let's draw our knees together. We'll slowly release our heels onto floor. And at any time you can remove the eye pillow, but feel free to keep it here while we're just resting. So the heels are rooted into floor. We might walk them a little closer to sit bones. We'll tuck the shoulder blades nice and flat. Palms are sides of hip. Fingers spread and relaxed. We start to lift into our half bridges. So we'll gently press the low back in, tuck the pelvis towards the ceiling. Engage the glutes, press through the heels. We'll start to gently peel the spine and lift towards the ceiling. So take your time getting there. Big inhale when you reach your highest space. And then as we exhale, we gently release with control, just connecting each vertebrae one by one. Think about rolling the spine instead of that flat back. And again, just keep resetting, pressing through the low back, tucking the pelvis, and then lifting, finding your way towards the ceiling. Big inhale as you peak, and then gently exhale, releasing back down. And let's keep going a few more rounds. Find that nice pace that feels good in your body. Think about the knees drawing in towards each other. The toes are relaxed. The inner thighs are firing as we lift and engage. We think about the entire body tonight, from head to toe. Good. As we start to lift into our next high half bridge, we'll start to take a breather here. Let's hang out. We'll find a few inhales and exhales as we squeeze deeper into the glutes, as if we're lifting and tucking pelvis a little higher. We'll lift the chin gently so we have lots of room to breathe. And if it's available, we might start to roll the shoulders under, allowing the fingers to reach towards each other, interlacing fingers, and think about pressing the pinky fingers, the wrists and the forearms, the elbows deeper into the floor. So feel that contraction. Keep moving the breath even in this space. Relaxing the eyebrows, maybe wiggle those toes, lots of weight in the heels. Another exhale will slowly unwind, release those fingers, unroll the shoulders, and with slow control, find the spine back on the floor, releasing those hip bones, releasing the tailbone, taking a breather. As we inhale, palms will come nice and wide, fingers spread, feet stay hip width apart. We'll send the knees over to right side. And let's take a few breaths here. We just use the hands in airplane position to just kind of help guide us. As we start to lift the knees, we'll press into the palms, we'll engage the belly slightly. We'll come through the center space, and let's head over to the other side. And then try to keep that breath with you. Bring awareness to that right side opening. Another exhale, we engage belly center. Let's draw the knees back in. So knees can move one at a time, or if it feels okay, together. And we start to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. We windshield wipe those knees side to side. And feel free to get playful and creative with this. It can look like anything. Just keep opening and closing. Using that breath. Releasing the tension in the jaw. And as we come back through center space, we'll just take a pause here. Let's root deep into the left heel. We'll inhale the right ankle to find top of left knee. Before we start to draw the knees in, we'll press that thigh away, the right thigh, the knee. We might even kind of get into the hip flexor of that right side. Think about opening and sending breath to any pain areas, any spaces of tension. And when you're ready, releasing the push of the knee, we'll reach around that left thigh. We'll start to draw the knees into the heart. Let's relax the shoulders again, rotating into the ankles if that feels okay. And then finding stillness, we'll just take a few more breaths. Another inhale, let's fill the belly, we'll reset. And as we exhale, releasing legs, we just start to unwind. The right heel finds the floor. We'll start to lift the left ankle. And then before we pull in, let's push it out for a moment. We might be able to feel deep into the low back, the psoas. We can kind of massage that left inner thigh, maybe even get into the hip flexor if that feels okay. Just see what comes up. If you ever go into a space that feels too deep, just come back out. There's no pressure to go too far tonight. Think about relaxing and taking care of yourself. So when you're ready, we'll release the push. We'll start to reach around that right thigh. We'll draw the knee in, relax the shoulders, open the heart again. Lengthen the back of the neck, and we start to rotate ankles. Just enjoying our body tonight. Slowing down for the evening. Another inhale as we prepare to release the legs. The heels find the floor. We'll start to gently roll over to the right side. So let's find the hands on the floor. We'll press ourselves away. We'll start to come into a seated posture. So if you have a blanket, it might feel really nice. I might grab one to kind of lift the hips. And we can come into a crisscross position. You can come into your lotus or half lotus, or if it feels better for you, have those knees bent, maybe even extended. You can always shift as we move a little deeper. So we just think about our posture here. We'll stack the spine, retract the chin. Imagine those strings and cables pulling us to ceiling, to the front wall. We'll release our palms, we'll roll the shoulders. Inhaling, lifting, and exhale, let's drop the shoulders back. Good, inhale, lifting, exhale, releasing. So let's release the eyebrows, either eyes closed or finding that gentle gaze on the floor. Let's remember our belly breath. We inhale and fill that imaginary balloon inside the belly. And as you exhale, we'll start to engage and draw into the navel. Inhale, lifting, exhale, small engagement. So as we start to exhale again, we'll start to lift through the pelvic floor. We think about that space in between the sit bones and the pelvis. We start to engage this Mula Bandha. So let's keep this with us through the rest of our practice. We'll inhale, fill, expand, and then exhale, we start to engage. And if it's part of your practice, feel free to invite that ujjayi exhale in, that breath with sound, that small whisper into the back of the throat. Sometimes hearing the sound of our own breath can really help us refocus the awareness, help us just get deeper into the body, into our practice. So find that patience tonight. Go slow, even if you want to go fast. Continue letting go of the day and just tuning into those spaces in the body that might not feel so good. Send that breath to those uncomfortable spaces. We'll start to draw the shoulders back into the ears. Let's take a pause. We'll intentionally squeeze into the facial muscles, engage the shoulders. And as we exhale next, let's roll the shoulders forward. We'll open up the upper spine. Again, inhaling, lifting, lengthening tall, and then rolling those shoulders forward. Imagine the shoulder blades just reaching wide behind you. Spread those wings and keep lifting nice and tall. Always being aware of the entire body as we send that breath. Working into all the sticky spots in the body. Releasing. And as we next roll those shoulders, we'll make some space between the ears and the shoulders. We'll start to gaze towards the ceiling as we sweep the arms around the room. Big opening of the front of the throat. On the exhale, let's bring the palms together, releasing into the heart. Again, let's reach out to the sides. We'll inhale, opening on up. And big exhale, releasing. And let's keep going. We're going to find the floor. So we can find the hands, the elbows, maybe even the head. So options to use the blocks. We can kind of stack the blocks underneath the elbows, maybe even underneath the forehead. Remember, this can look like anything that supports your body. As we forward fold, we bring awareness to the low spine, to the hips, to the knees, to the ankles. We open the base of the neck. We spread the shoulders wide. We just melt into the floor. If it's available, we'll stay here. We'll just start to walk those fingers a little bit further. Maybe even rocking or rolling onto those knees, allowing the hips to peel a little bit. And as we inhale, let's press against the floor, we'll slowly sweep our way over to our right side. So same forward fold, we just bring awareness into that left side body. We tuck the chin and bow into the knee. We feel that space in the rib cage. At any time, feel free to move those legs around if they feel stuck. We might walk the fingers a little bit further in this position as well. And if it's available, we'll place the left palm on top of the right. We can interlace those fingers. And if it feels okay, we start to kind of invite a rocking sensation into the shoulders, into the torso. We bring that breath, inhale and exhale, just finding that space. Just exploring the body tonight, searching for a little bit more room, a little bit more length. As we inhale, let's fill the belly. We'll press the palms away. We'll walk ourselves through the center space. If you need those blocks, just take them with you. And we'll head over to opposite side. We'll bow into the knee, releasing the heaviness of the head. Just sinking into where the body can naturally go into. And if it feels okay, we'll start to gently walk the fingers a little bit further. And if it's available, placing that right palm on top of the left will invite a nice rocking sensation into the shoulders, into the torso. We start to breathe, inhaling and exhaling. As we find some stillness, let's unwind the fingers, we'll press the palms and we'll walk back through center. And just one more forward fold, releasing again to the floor. Let's remember that ujjayi breath, that deep belly breathing, maybe even that counted breath if that's helpful for your mind. Whatever tools can help get you into the space you'd like to go into. And with the palms facing the floor, I'll be offering adjustments tonight. So maybe a little pressure on the low back. If you prefer not to be touched tonight, feel free to place the palms facing the ceiling so I know to give you some space. And you can always change your mind as I approach. Just let me know. If you want more pressure, less pressure, not to be touched at all, just let me know. So we'll press the palms away. We'll start to roll the spine. We'll stack back into seated. Another inhale, let's sweep the fingers, painting along the ceiling, opening the heart. Exhale, palms find the heart center once again. And as we release the right palm to belly, we'll keep the left palm on the chest. We'll roll those shoulders and stack the spine. Let's release the belly. Just let it hang there as we inhale through the nose. And as we exhale, find your ujjayi, lift through the pelvic floor. We'll start to just draw the navel into the spine. So feel it in the hand, this opening as we inhale, this releasing, relaxing. And as we exhale, we feel the contraction. Just a few more so we can feel it in the body. Opening and then closing. Think about lengthening always. Melting shoulders, relaxing the eyebrows. Feel free to make that noise with the breath. We're all here practicing together, no judgment. Just let it go. Feel into the body tonight. Another deep inhale. As we exhale, we'll open the eyes. We'll just release those palms. If you are lifted onto the blanket, we're just gonna take it away. We'll slowly settle a little deeper and start to draw those heels into the floor. We'll start to move into some seated cat-cows. So we start to roll the shoulders. We'll inhale as if we're gluing the ribs into the thighs and then allowing knees to fall out. And then exhale, let's press it back. We'll curve into the spine. And then inhale, we'll roll the shoulders. We'll open up. We may even look towards the ceiling to open the front of the throat. And then exhale, releasing. So just keep going with this wave-like sensation. Feel free to close the eyes. Noticing the tailbone, the sit bones, the shoulders and the heart opening deep. Inhaling and exhaling. And wherever you are in the cycle, as we start to float forward, we'll allow those knees to continue splaying. And we'll just start to tuck into the toes. So we'll lengthen through the crown, tucking the chin and just bowing into the body. rolling into the spine. So this can look really different for all of us. If you want the heels to be nice and tight into the groin or make some space, just get comfy. Continue releasing and relaxing. As we next inhale, we're going to stay forward folding. We just send the body weight over to right knee. We'll allow the whole body to kind of tip over. As we exhale, we'll float back through center and we'll head over to the opposite side. Inhaling when you find the knee, and then exhale, floating through. So we'll keep rolling side to side. And as we tune back into the breath, back into the body, just invite you to set an intention for your practice. Just make it really easy. Maybe one word, one phrase, something you want to focus on, let go of, or work towards. Take a few more cycles of breath to get super clear on what that might be. And as we use the breath to focus the mind, we'll also use this intention, this mantra, to just help guide the thoughts back into our practice. We'll slowly float through center. We'll start to lift and lengthen. We'll restack the spine. We'll start to draw those knees back together. Let's roll the shoulders. We'll tuck the fingers, the tippy toes find the floor. And we'll just walk ourselves back slightly so we find a little bit more weight on the sit bones. We'll open the heart, lifting towards the ceiling. And we'll gently inhale just 1 foot at a time. And we can start to just notice how that affects the low back. Just keep trying to lift as tall as we can, pointing and flexing. As we exhale, crossing ankles, we'll press the palms, we'll gently lift through, and then coming right back down, reconnecting, we'll reset. And just see how each time we might go a little bit deeper, we might get a little bit taller. Crossing ankles opposite direction, we'll place the palms, we'll lift, and then exhale, releasing gently, we'll come back in. We might straighten the legs a little bit deeper, maybe even just holding on to the legs, maybe walking those hands to ankles. Another cross of the ankles, we'll slowly press. Good. Warming up the shoulders and the arms. And one more time, let's play with extending through the arms this time and see how that feels. So options to release the hands behind if you don't feel strong enough to hold. And then again, we'll just cross those ankles, we'll lift for a breath. And as we slowly connect the sit bones, let's start to roll over onto knees. So we start to walk ourselves back into our tabletop. And we'll just move through a few cat-cows to begin. As we inhale, we'll start to drop the belly, lift the tailbone, open the heart, gaze towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, tucking the chin, pressing through the palms, the knees, the tops of the feet. And just keep going. We'll open and close. Maybe closing the eyes so you can really feel into your spine. Use that deep exhale. Spread the fingers and relax the hands. Roll those shoulders. Just getting into all the deepest spaces of the body tonight. Inhaling and exhaling. And next time we start to move through our center space, our tabletop, we'll take a pause. We'll start to peek over the right shoulders. The hips will fall to the left. Inhale through center. Let's peek over the opposite side. The hips fall to the right. And we keep swaying side to side. Allow the neck to hang and the eyes to reach for the toes. You just keep sending side to side. One inhale on each side, maybe the exhale through center. On the exhale, think about lifting through pelvic floor. On the inhale, open the ribs, fill the belly. And as we come through center, we'll slowly deepen the knees nice and wide. The toes will come together. Let's sit back into the heels. We'll release into our child's pose, resting the forehead, reaching those fingers nice and tall, opening underneath the shoulders, feeling lots of length in the spine. And just taking a few deep breaths, a little pressure on the hips. Another inhale here, we'll start to lift back through our cat spine. Let's keep the knees really wide, and we start to bend into the elbows. We'll send the hips forward. Let's open the heart. We'll gaze towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, let's roll it back. We'll come back into our child's pose. Let's take a few more breaths here. We'll slowly pick up the pace a little. If you'd prefer to keep moving in and out, feel free. If you'd like to just stay in your child's pose. Just a little pressure on your back. Just a little pressure. As we continue to float the body forward and back, just a few more rounds, just imagining the body as a wave in the ocean, rolling the spine towards the ceiling, sending the hips, bending the elbows, opening the heart, the front of the throat, relaxing the eyebrows, and then pressing, engaging the belly center and sending those hips back again, taking the breath on each side. Melting the shoulders. If there's any low back pain as you shift forward in your upward dog variation, feel free to really engage the glutes to help protect the low back. Squeeze, 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 or maybe just don't go as deep. See how that feels to lift a little higher. And just one more nice round. As we start to lift and lengthen, we'll find that tabletop. Let's keep the knees really wide. We start to send the left arm underneath the right. We'll release the shoulder, walking that right fingers overhead and peeking underneath the right shoulder, maybe even pressing through that left palm on the floor. If the knees feel uncomfortable, you can place the blanket underneath for a little bit more cushion. And let's just find that breath again. Inhale, fill the belly. Big exhale, engage the belly center, lift through your Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor, engage, and then exhale and inhale. Just take that time. Imagine the body just sinking in, unwinding. So we can either stay here. If you'd like to go a little deeper, we'll inhale the right palm back to the eyes. We'll press deep into right palm and send some weight over to left side. We can kick that right leg back. The toes connect to floor. We can lift the kneecap, engage that thigh, and keep rotating towards the ceiling as we sweep the right arm around. So we might have the arm hanging out in the ceiling space. We might find the tailbone. We can even tuck the fingers underneath or in the hip crease. If you'd like more of a challenge, think about really shifting weight onto left side, inhaling the right leg. Sometimes this will tip us over, so just go slow. And if it's too much, come on out a little bit. Good. Resting and challenging all at the same time. As you're ready, we'll slowly release, connect those knees. We'll come back through our tabletop. Let's start to send the right arm under, the shoulder finds the floor. And we'll just gently, again, maybe invite a small rocking sensation into those hips to open up. We can walk the left fingertips overhead, peeking underneath the left shoulder, really rotating into the ribs, lengthening the spine, relaxing the eyebrows. So we can either stay here. If you'd like to go deeper, the left palm comes back to the eyes. We'll shift more weight into right knee, kick that left leg back. The toes can root deep. And either staying here or sweeping left arm to wrap around, finding either the ceiling space, the low back, tucking fingers into the hip crease. We can stay here if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, more challenging. Think about really rooting deep into that right knee that's connecting, and then begin to engage the belly center as we lift that left leg. Lots of pressure in the right arm to help stabilize. Maybe test it out. If it's too much, just come back down, plug those toes in. Use the breath to guide you and calm the body down. When you're ready, we'll slowly unwind. We'll untuck those fingers. We'll gently find the floor once again. And then coming back into our tabletop. So from this space, let's root deep into the left knee and the right palm. So we're going to walk the right palm back so it's underneath the shoulder, left knee underneath that left hip socket. So we'll gently begin to tuck the opposites. We'll come into a nice little ball shape. And then as we inhale, we'll reach through fingertips, through toes, as wide as we can. As we exhale, we come back in. So we're opening and closing just as we've been doing, keeping that breath as we inhale, lengthen, exhale, draw it back in. So I know all of us have done this posture. So think about just going slow tonight. We can all power through and go fast, but can we go slow and be mindful and use the breath? Think about the shoulder and the fingers and the spine. And we're just practicing our balance. We're practicing our awareness. As we extend, we might notice the right hip wants to either drop or lift. Just think about that glass of water resting on the back, keeping everything nice and square. And it's okay, you don't have to be perfect here. I'm just giving you little cues to think about, to work into. The next time we extend, we'll take a moment here. We start to pulse the arm and the leg towards the ceiling. As we lift, we start to exhale. So we might actually quicken the breath just for this posture. Think about drawing the navel in again. Find that Mula Bandha. Really nice. And we'll find some stillness. Let's kick and bend into that back knee. If it's available, we'll sweep this left arm around. We may or may not connect. Options to use the strap are always there. If you are connecting, think about just kicking the foot into the hand. So maybe this feels better for you. Different options. We roll the left shoulder towards the ceiling. We might even gaze towards the ceiling. And then gently exhale, knees come together, small little child's pose just for a breath. Release the forehead. Inhale, let's roll through our cat spine. And we head over to opposite side. So we'll drive deep into that right knee. Let's walk the left wrist back so you're really stacking. Find that tabletop. We'll exhale, tuck into the body. Inhale, reach out. And then exhale. And inhale. Think about dropping that left hip or keeping it nice and square as you extend. And then releasing and tucking. Opening and closing, using that same breath. If the wrist becomes fatigued, feel free to come onto the elbow. You can come onto the fist as well. Maybe think about pressing deep into the thumb and the pointer finger. That can take a little pressure off. And again, we just practice going slow and being mindful tonight. Sending that breath through the body, lengthening, opening. Just a few more rounds, take your time. Lots of balance, lots of coordination, especially when we go slow. So wherever you are in this cycle, as we start to reach out, we'll take a pause and we'll slowly start to pulse the arm and the leg towards the ceiling. Imagine just strings pulling us gently, lifting and lowering. We might begin to quicken the breath, exhaling each time we lift, keeping that nice flat back. As we release, knees find each other. Let's sit back. We'll find that baby child's pose, releasing the forehead. And as we inhale, we'll slowly roll back through our tabletop. We'll start to lift and lengthen. On the exhale, we're going to shift weight back into the right knee. and begin reaching through the left heel. So as if we're kind of pressing through the heel, and then we'll send the weight forward into the wrists and the fingers. So kind of rocking ourselves. Keep protecting those shoulders and wrists and make sure those wrists are underneath. Good. When you're ready, knees come together, we'll kick back with the opposite leg. So reaching through the heel of the right side, opening the arch of the feet, the Achilles, the calves. Reaching and rolling into those wrists. And as we shift forward, this next time we'll shift weight onto both knees. They'll come together. Let's keep the toes really tucked, and we're just going to flip our wrists. So we'll flip the wrists upside down. So just go slow. This one can be a little intense. Sometimes each wrist has a little different flexibility, so just test it out. Maybe you go one at a time if they're not feeling great. And we can even invite a rocking sensation back in, so we're still working on the opening of the feet along with the opening of the wrists. And we just keep breathing through, inhale and exhale. Just think of this as movement meditation. We're tuning in as deep as we can, noticing the body, becoming super aware of how it's feeling. Just finding that patience tonight, knowing that where we are right now in our body and our mind is exactly where we need to be. As we shift back into our heels, we'll take a pause, relieve some of that weight out of the wrists. We'll flip them back, and let's send them around this side, the outside. And again, we'll just start to rock back and forth. If the toes are not liking this, feel free to untuck if it's too much. But try to stay there if you can. Opening and closing. You can even spend some time hanging on the feet and then opening each hand so you can get deeper into the fingers, into the eye of the elbow. Breaking open all that fascia. Good, and we'll slowly flip those wrists. We'll gently find our tabletop again. So from this space, we're going to keep those toes tucked. Let's start to lift our hips. We'll come into our first inversion. So we might take some time to spread the fingers and press deep into the palms, the thumbs. We'll pedal through those heels, wagging the tailbone, the hips sway side to side, maybe peeking under the shoulder each time. Really kind of rotating, maybe a little bit more exaggerated than you normally would go. We'll slowly find some stillness here. On the inhale, we'll gently lift the kneecaps, engage the thighs. We'll reach the heart closer to the knees, kind of reaching the forehead towards the floor, spread the fingers. If you feel too wide, just walk those hands back. And as we lift here, let's lift the legs onto tippy toes. Hips find the ceiling. Exhale, release those heels. Inhale, we'll lift and lengthen. Exhale, we'll release. And just keep going here, lifting mindfully. We just think about the spine lengthening tall, the tailbone lifting towards ceiling, the back of knees opening, the arches of the feet reaching. And if you feel like you've gone too deep, just come out a little bit. Make this work for your body. The next time we lift onto tippy toes, we're gently going to bend into the knees. And then exhale, let's stay on tippy toes, but straighten up the legs, lift the kneecaps. Inhale, we'll bend. Exhale, release. And as we bend into the knees, the eyes can find the fingers. So we can work into the cervical spine as well. So lifting, straightening, eyes find toes, bending, eyes find fingers. And then keep going. Good, really nice. Kind of that crouching tiger and then reaching nice and tall. And as you're ready, we'll just release the heels. We're going to gently root deep into the left and right foot evenly. And we'll start to walk the right and left hand back to meet the toes. So we find ourselves forward folding the back of our mat. We'll gently wrap the fingertips around and we'll start to sway side to side. Just releasing Again, matching the breath, inhale, exhale. Good. As we find stillness, we'll reach or release that left hand. Let's bend into the left knee, and then we'll start to sweep the right arm towards the ceiling. We just spread the fingers nice and wide, really opening up that whole right side of the body. Rotating the ribs, reaching fingertips towards the ceiling. Good. Another deep inhale. Let's fill the belly. On the exhale, we'll slowly unwind, bend into both knees, and then begin to straighten just the left knee. The left leg, the right knee will stay bent, and we'll sweep the left arm open, rotating, opening. Keep sending that breath. Think about stacking the shoulders away from the ears, lengthening through the spine. Feel free to use a block if it feels too much. And then gently, slowly exhale, releasing again. And then from here, nice bent knees, we'll slowly start to roll the spine. We're going to gently come into a standing posture. As we find ourselves at the back of our mat, toes facing forward, we're going to bring the feet hip width apart. Let's roll the shoulders. We'll restack the spine. Maybe tuck that pelvis gently. And then retract the chin. We'll release our palms to sides. And let's close the eyes just for a moment. We'll slowly start to shift our weight into toes and then back into those heels. Forward and back rocking. And just notice where the breath is. If it's not in sync, we'll try to match that up. We'll inhale forward, exhale back, or whichever one feels better. Feeling belly space. Releasing the facial muscles. If you need to find the eyes on the floor, that's okay. Good. As we find some stillness, we'll slowly sweep the hands overhead. We'll gaze towards the ceiling. On the exhale, let's swan dive towards the floor. We'll send the hips back, nice flat back. And then we'll find the hands on the shins. So we'll gently begin to roll the shoulders and lengthen through the crown. On the exhale, let's forward fold. We'll bend into the knees. And then again, inhale, we'll lift into our flat back. Think about engaging the thighs. Exhale, we'll bend into knees, tuck the chin. Inhale, we'll lift and lengthen. And just 2 more rounds, try to find your way, bending and lifting. Another bend. Another lift, we'll hang out. On the exhale, the palms find the floor. We'll start to walk our way forward. We'll find our home base once again. We'll start to lift into our downward dog. We might take a few petals here, releasing through the heels, wagging the hips and the tailbone. And then from this space, bringing feet hip width apart. We're going to slowly press deep into the right palm, and then reach the left palm underneath the body to find either the ankle, the toe, the shin, the knee. We rotate deep. So options here, if it doesn't feel good on the shoulders, you can come onto the elbow. You can even come onto those knees and just keep kind of twisting into that space. Good, another deep inhale. As we exhale, let's release. Left palm replaces the right. Again, we'll lift the hips, we'll reach the heart towards the toes, and then we'll twist underneath. We'll just connect where we can. Engage the legs, and then peek underneath that shoulder. Rotate the ribs. Keep sending that breath. Inhale, exhale. Plug that shoulder deep into the socket. Spread the fingers. Big exhale. Another inhale, reset. We'll slowly come back. Find your down dog, both hands root. We can gently find our way again. And as we take a moment, left foot roots, we'll start to sweep the right leg towards the ceiling. Think about opening right hip to side wall, bend into that knee, kickstand the leg, drop the heel. So we're going to stay here. We're going to slowly round this right knee and this right hip. So it's just circling around. Good. Inhale and exhale. So this can be really small. It can be big. Just go to where it feels good. Try not to go into the pain. If it is painful, come out a little bit. And whichever direction you're going to, we're going to switch it up. So think about painting that knee along the ceiling, opening and closing, rolling the leg.
Notice if you're holding the breath, find those exhales. And we'll start to find some stillness. Let's draw the toes together again. And then we'll shift. Toes will come together and we'll roll the spine through our cat spine and we'll come into our high plank just for a moment. Squeeze the glutes, zip up the legs. And then let's exhale, reach those hips back into your down dog. On the inhale, knees find the floor, untuck the toes, forehead finds floor, sweep the arms around. Just take a breather, maybe rotate the wrists. I know we've been upside down for a little while. Keep breathing. As we inhale, let's lift through our cat spine again, palms find the floor. Let's tuck our toes, we're gonna come back in and get the other side. So we reach through the heels, we'll lift the tailbone. Let's root deep into the right foot. We'll lift the kneecap. Think of that standing leg as a strong tree, rooted deep. We'll inhale the left leg towards the ceiling, bend the knee, drop the heel, and we start to roll whichever direction you like. Just think about painting along the ceiling, the sidewall, releasing the facial muscles, just bringing that mindfulness into the body. When you're ready, we'll switch in the opposite direction. Just take your time. Again, find that patience. Doesn't matter how flexible or strong we are tonight, we just keep going in these spaces. We challenge ourselves, we make new relationship with the body. Good, as we find some stillness, toes find each other, knees find the floor, forehead finds floor, toes untuck. We'll wrap the fingers around the ankles again. And as we inhale once again, we'll roll through the spine, we'll shift forward onto knees. Let's come back into our down dog so we can slowly shift into our forward lunges. So we'll root deep into the left leg, we'll inhale the right. As we exhale, let's bend deep into the left knee as we sweep this right leg forward. So it might look like one clean sweep, or it may look like left knee finds floor. We take a few steps and get ourselves in. Good. And then just something we're looking for is keeping the knee over the ankle. So this space, not so good. We'll just gently scooch those toes forward. Try to find a space where you're a little bit closer. And sometimes you need those blocks to make that happen. So we might lift through the torso to get there. Think about engaging the glutes, opening the heart, and then gently exhaling, just connecting to either blocks or the hands on the floor. We'll untuck the back toe and just begin to kind of rock side to side. See how that feels, if we can find a little bit more space tonight. And as we find some stillness, we'll think about pressing this right knee out to the side. We can even roll the ankle onto the pinky toe. We're going to get a little deeper pretty soon, but I just wanted to try this out as we're lifted. So see how that feels. If it's too much, just come back, replug the foot, and just think about sending this knee out. And when you're ready, we'll reroute the foot. We'll draw the knee back in, and let's head on to the elbows. So this may even, again, look like elbows on top of blocks. If this doesn't work for your body, you can just continue to lift. So we'll release onto the elbows. Again, we can start to side rock here. See what's there tonight. And when you find that stillness, we'll start to root deep into the left elbow. Let's press the right knee out. Maybe again, roll onto that ankle. See if there's a little bit more length tonight. And again, just go to where your body can go to. We're never comparing ourselves to anyone else but ourselves. Keep using that breath. Just breathe into it. If there's any low back pain, engage the glutes. Help yourself stabilize. When you're ready, root that right foot. We'll inhale. Let's lift the torso. We'll find the hands on top of that right knee. We'll roll the shoulders and we'll start to lift and lengthen. And as we exhale, let's send it forward again. So think about squaring those knees
And just nice, easy opening and closing. If you have some balance challenges, feel free to take those blocks with you. Sometimes that can be helpful. And then when you're ready, palms on the inside. We'll start to tuck the back toe. Let's sweep through our high plank, and then we'll press those hips back. We'll just pedal through a few times. Inhaling, exhaling. Good, and we'll start to sweep through the other side. So we'll root deep into the right leg. And then we'll inhale the left. And just take your time getting there. Maybe a few steps, maybe scooching those toes a little bit further forward. And if you need the blocks to lift to make that happen, please use those. And we'll just untuck the back toes. We'll gently just sink in a little bit. Let's explore side to side rocking. Again, tonight is about going slow and mindful. So take your time, use the breath. And even in this high space, we can bring the hands to the inside and think about pressing that left knee out to the side. Maybe even the ankle rolls. And we just kind of test it out, see what feels good. Maybe we go too deep and we come out, but we're constantly just taking inventory of the body. We're watching the thoughts come and go. We use that breath, that mantra to help bring us back when we start to leave our practice. When you're ready, let's just root that foot back and we'll start to lower down. We may even walk that left foot out a little to make more room. And then we'll find the elbows, releasing the forehead, tucking the chin. Again, on the blocks, you can use those for some support. That feels better. And just use that breath. Any low back pain, really engage the glutes and the legs to help kind of lift you out a little bit more. So we're not just kind of dumping into this space unless it feels okay. But if you have that sharp pinching pain, come on out a little bit. Good. As you're ready, let's exhale, engage the belly. Let's press the palms. We'll start to lift those hands onto the top of that knee, and then we'll start to sweep it back. Exhale, let's dive forward. Just a few rounds. Let's roll the shoulders. Keep lengthening tall. And then as you're ready, we'll shift forward again. We'll tuck the back toes, plant the hands. Let's sweep through our high plank, and then we'll send those hips back. Maybe a few side-to-side rocking. As we inhale, we'll drop to the knees. And we'll start to just send those legs out to the left side. So we'll come into a side knee plank. Think about that left shoulder the wrist underneath the shoulder, and then we'll sweep towards the ceiling. If you'd like to go deeper, think about extending through the top leg. You can even go into both legs extended, if you'd like. If you want to go even further, think about lifting that top leg. Bring a little bit more challenge into it. Maybe test it out and come out. Exhale, slow release. Let's release back onto knees or just sweep through your high plank wherever you're at today. So moving through the knees or keeping into your side. And then just really root the wrist underneath the shoulder. We'll open on up. And then just think about slowly progressing. Try it out. Extend the top leg. Maybe you bring both legs together. Maybe we lift into the top leg. See what feels good tonight. We can either sweep through our high plank or release onto those knees. And just a nice gentle chaturanga, high to low, releasing onto the heart. We'll extend through the toes and just make some room in front of us. We'll reach the fingertips and just walking the fingers nice and tall. We'll bring the chin to the floor. Let's start to zip up the legs. Tuck the pelvis, press the tops of the feet into the floor. And as we inhale, let's fill. As we exhale, we start to lift through the crown, press the palms, and kind of walk them a little bit closer to us. And then exhale, we'll just release our elbows. Let's walk the elbows into the ribs. We'll roll the shoulders, open the heart, gaze towards the ceiling. Zip up those legs, tuck the pelvis. On the exhale, we'll slow release. The ear finds the floor, whichever one feels best. And then we'll slowly start to kick the heel of that same side you're peeking over and reach back to connect to the ankle. So you can use the strap in this one too, if you need a longer arm. And just rest. When you're ready, let's release that leg. We'll slowly inhale. Let's lift through, the palms will come into the heart. We'll zip the elbows into the ribs. We'll roll the shoulders, zip up the legs. We'll just lift into our cobra one more time. For how you want to go. And then let's start to release and peek over the opposite shoulder. We'll kick back and connect. And just releasing here, pulling, using the belly breath. Another inhale, we'll slowly unwind. We'll just chin back to the floor. Let's draw the palms into the heart, the elbows zip in. We're just going to reverse push up. So let's press a nice flat back and then send the hips back. Find your child's pose. Inhaling, rolling through our cat spine. We're going to slowly tuck or cross our ankles and start to sit back onto our sit bones. We'll extend through the legs and let's just scooch ourselves forward so we can start to prepare to close our practice. So we'll extend through those legs, really dig deep into sit bones. We'll inhale, match the arms to the legs. With control, engage the legs and gently release the body. And again, this is going to look different for all of us. If you need to grab on or use the hands, please go there. As we inhale, we'll reach the fingertips overhead, full body stretch through fingers and toes. Exhaling, sweeping palms will draw the knees into the heart. Right and left sides. Maybe a few rocking side to side. And then let's reach for the inside of the feet. We'll come into our happy baby. We can side to side rock again if that feels good. And then slowly releasing those legs. On the inhale, just the right knee will tuck in, and let's start to twist over the left body, the left side. So coming into one last spinal twist on both sides. Good, close the eyes. Maybe peek towards that right finger side. And use those exhales to get a little deeper, to unwind, to let go. Big belly breaths. Another inhale. Let's come back through center. Plug those hips in. We'll switch up the legs, so press out with the right. Tuck that left in, and we'll head over to opposite side. Left fingertip sweep. We might gaze towards left side. And just go as deep as feels comfortable. Use those exhales to get a little deeper. Maybe close the eyes to unwind. And as you're ready, engaging the belly, gently drawing those knees back into center. We'll start to prepare for our final resting posture of Shavasana. If you have any other postures you'd like to get in, feel free to keep moving. If you have your shoulder stand or you want to go into a full wheel, maybe your body's calling for another pigeon, feel free to just go into those spaces. I'll just be offering some blankets and pillows. If you'd prefer not to receive, just let me know. Just going to put the blocks underneath your knees. So we take this time at the end of practice to just be still, to just absorb all of this wonderful work we've done tonight. We take this time to tune back into that breath. As we next exhale, we begin to bring awareness back into our yoga practice. We bring movement into fingers, into toes. We might rotate the wrists and the ankles, spreading the fingers wide. And maybe just reaching those arms overhead, full body stretch. Through fingers, through toes. Just bringing those blankets wherever they go. And as we take a moment to transition, we'll gently begin to roll onto one side. Feel free to bring the blankets and pillows with you. Just take a few deep breaths. And when you're ready, we'll press those palms away. We'll start to lift the body out of the earth. And we again find our seated posture whenever feels comfortable tonight. Just stacking the spine, allowing the breath to be easy. As we gently sweep our fingers around the room, we'll gaze towards the ceiling again. The palms find each other and release into the heart. Another round as we sweep as wide as we can, absorbing all of the energy in the room, bringing that energy through the palms into the heart center. We'll close the eyes and just find a few more breaths so we can acknowledge this practice tonight. Acknowledge this space that we're in, this rhythmic, calming breath we've created for ourselves. And we try to really lean on this so we can bring it with us through the rest of our evening, the rest of our week, and know that it is always here for us to lean on, to help ground us, to reconnect with ourselves. And as we inhale, we'll draw the thumbs into the forehead. We prepare to close our practice as we bow to each other. Namaste. Thank you all so much for practicing. So good to see you guys. Yeah. Take your time getting up. We might have some water, tea. Actually, we've got some tea coming. What kind is it?
Soup. It used to be called tummy tonic.
Oh, nice.
Peppermint, chamomile.
Okay, awesome.